Well, hello everyone and happy Monday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, where I go through 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 p.m. newscast. Everyone watching right now, I just want to thank you for spending a little of your Monday afternoon with me. And just a little reminder, our 4 p.m. newscast will actually be streamed on wherever you are watching this right now. So whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream page, don't go anywhere because the 4 will be right here. And of course, our 5, 6, and 10 o'clock newscast will be aired on television like normal. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Let's now jump in to today's top stories. And starting things off in the Shoals, where Sheffield police are still looking for the suspect in connection to a shooting that left a 16-year-old girl dead. Earlier today, Sheffield police announced they received an arrest warrant for Lamarian Bethany, who you see on screen there. He is also known as Ghost, for the murder of 16-year-old Demilah Nixon. Police say Bethany is considered armed and dangerous, and if you have any information on him or his whereabouts, make sure you contact the Sheffield Police Department or your local law enforcement agency immediately. And of course, 48's Aria Pons has been working all day to find out more information about this situation. So make sure you stick around for our 4 o'clock newscast for more. And of course, staying in the Shoals, authorities say they are also looking for a missing Lauderdale County woman who was first reported missing in late July. According to the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office, 62-year-old Melissa Young, who you are seeing on screen right now, was last seen on July 23rd around 4 p.m. wearing a reddish-pink Realtree shirt in the area of South Court Street in Florence. Authorities say she could be living with a condition that could impair her judgment. If you have any idea of her whereabouts, please contact the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office. And now in Fort Payne, a former part-time DeKalb County deputy who was arrested on Friday for a sex crime is now facing a new charge. Joshua Wells, who you see on screen, was booked into the Cherokee County Jail on a sodomy charge Friday. Now, court documents reveal that he allegedly forced a 15-year-old boy to have sex with him back in July of 2023. Wells was a part-time DeKalb County deputy. Court records now reveal that he was also charged with sexual abuse. Wells is set to have an Aniah's Law hearing on the situation on August 8th. In Limestone County, authorities are now searching for the person who set a fire at a home Monday afternoon. According to fire officials, crews were called to Keaton Road about a fire. Now, no one was injured while fighting the fire, and luckily, no one was inside when it started. While fire officials on the scene didn't know how the fire started, they did say it was set intentionally. They didn't release any details about the suspect. However, we are working on your side, working to learn more about this situation, and we will update you all as we do. Now, let's head back to the Shoals, where yesterday 48's Aria Pons reported on a story about school safety as the kids head back to the classroom. Aria Pons on school safety in the Shoals. Let's take a listen.
You know, obviously we know that if students don't feel safe, if staff doesn't feel safe, then teaching and learning, it doesn't happen. And so we want safety to be our #1 priority, as it always has been.
Muscle Shoals City Schools Superintendent Chad Holden wants to reassure students and parents as school begins. He says there have been several brand new safety measures put in place over the summer. Holden says that every teacher and administrator will have access to an app that will allow them to notify anyone in the school system of any problems. And for the first time in school history, there will be a school resource officer at every school building.
But our SROs do a lot more than just provide security. I mean, they are there building relationships with students. They're helping to instill a trust in law enforcement, which is so important, especially when they become adults.
Over at Florence, safety is also a priority, but they're also making some new moves at their current kindergarten through 4th grade schools.
We're transitioning them over a few year period to a K6. So you will have Forest Hills, Harlan, and Wheaton will all be K5 this year. Hibbett will be a K6 this year.
Superintendent Jimmy Shaw says schools will receive modular unit trailers to create space for additional classes. The plan for now is that current 5th grade students who are already at Hibbett will stay for their last year as 6th graders. That will happen with 4th graders at Forest Hills, Harlan, and Wheaton as well for the next 2 years as they transition into the 6th grade. But that's not the only change.
And lastly, you will see a new band room. If you drive by our high school, you see some pretty heavy construction going on in our parking lot of the high school as we construct a band room that's been promised for years.
Shaw says a new band room has been promised for a long time as there's never been any renovations on the current one. He also added the band has outgrown their current space. Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Thank you, Aria. Now in DeKalb County, Ider police are warning parents and teachers of a new THC and nicotine vape pen disguised as an ink pen. That's it right there, known as the Penjamin. Ider police say they have recently confiscated 2 of these things. Police say students may just think they are vaping nicotine, but in reality, they could be laced with fentanyl, THC, and other dangerous chemicals. They are urging parents to talk with their kids about peer pressure and the dangers of using products such as these. Now, in case you missed it, yesterday a fire broke out on a yacht boat in Killen. Multiple crews responded to the fire, which started at Turtle Point Marina. The fire was so strong that it left 2 yachts completely destroyed. And 48's Daquan Lee has more.
Ryan Taylor was up early working at Turtle Point. He saw the smoke and followed it down to the water, saw 2 burning yachts, and called 911.
We did everything we could, called the fire department, tried to do everything we could, and when they got here, kind of let them handle it, and it got under control pretty quickly, but for a start, it was pretty scary and whatnot.
Nearly a dozen local and state emergency first responders showed up to fight the flames. Not only were the boats on fire, they were drifting towards other vessels. People on those nearby boats were evacuated, and fire crews came up with a plan. The first burning yacht was pulled further out in the water, away from other ships to prevent the fire from spreading. The other burning yacht was brought under control. Then the first yacht was doused and pulled back to the pier.
The owners of the boat are in London right now, but they were notified. We let them know. He kind of was a bit shaken about it too, but after he heard the news and kind of got everything figured out with insurance and whatnot, he said he thinks it should be okay.
There were steps taken to mitigate the environmental impact too. Killen Fire and Rescue says floating booms are in place around the wreckage to soak up any leftover fuel from the boats or chemicals used to put out the fires. Ryan Taylor told us it was an intense day.
Just felt like a normal day, and then realized it wasn't going to be, but the firefighters did what I thought was a great job, a tremendous job by then. They put it out very quickly. Everything flowed smoothly. Everybody at Turtle Point helping out where they can and doing what they can do to make sure the community stays strong.
Such a wild situation. Thank you, Daquan. And also yesterday, Daquan Lee updated us all on the suspect involved in a BB gun shooting of a Huntsville police officer. Daquan spoke with neighbors of the suspect, and let's take a listen to what they had to say.
Wednesday morning, Huntsville police arrested Malik Prentice, claiming he shot an officer with a BB gun. Neighbors on Whitestone Drive say he frequently walks up and down the street, but was never a threat to the area, even if what he's accused of was dangerous and reckless.
I just see him, he's harmless. He walks up and down the street. He's very polite when he does, speak to you or ask for something. So I don't see him as a threat at all.
Nadra Reed was the only neighbor who agreed to go on camera, but she and other neighbors think Prentice may suffer from a mental illness. Huntsville police will only tell us they were responding to the call of someone's family member having a medical episode. Dr. Danny Blanchard, the director of a mental health clinic, says incidents like this can often end in tragedy, especially when weapons or items police may believe to be weapons are involved. But over the past few years, new training has allowed officers to handle these cases differently.
But officers are not robots. They're not made out of steel. They have feelings, they have emotions, and they react. It's unfortunate that sometimes they overreact, and that's where training comes in.
Dr. Blanchard says he doesn't know what happened in this particular incident, but in the big picture, police and social workers have worked together around the country recently to de-escalate situations.
I think officers and social workers need to be trained openly and clearly. And I'm not talking about a one-day seminar. I think they need long-term training. There needs to be budgets included. And I would encourage the city council to make sure that there's adequate funding for training.
In Huntsville, DeQuan Lee, 48 on your side.
Thank you, DeQuan. And now in sports. Today, the Huntsville City Football Club announced Chris O'Neill as its new head coach. Now, O'Neill has most recently spent time as the U17 coach for Inter Miami CF Academy. He will make his sideline debut against Chattanooga FC on August 10th at Wuest Family Field. We wish him the best of luck. And staying in sports, on Friday, Aria Pons covered an awesome story about a local Olympic trainer out in the Shoals. Let's take a look.
A small community track star turned Texas Tech jumps coach. Keith Hurston started his career right here in Green Hill, and now he's coached more than a handful of Olympic athletes.
Zero chance.
It was on this exact track where Keith Hurston started running toward a dream he didn't even realize he had.
No chance I ever thought I would be traveling the world and doing this. And I don't know that I had the dreams, the thoughts of even being, of what this would be like or even doing that.
He says it was his Rogers High School track coach, Nathan Killen, who started his love for the sport and his dad's drive that kept him in it.
It just catapulted my career, from, coaching as a graduate assistant to a full-time coach all the way to the Olympics. So just thankful for Coach Killen and Rogers High School and Green Hill. And
for the last several years, Hurston has coached college athletes. Now he's in Paris helping coach 5 Olympians in the long jump, triple jump, high jump, and pole vault.
It makes me feel real proud to know that somebody's got started with my little setup and everything and gone somewhere and learn more about it and been very successful.
Hurston says his message to anyone looking to follow their dreams:
give everything you got towards a purpose. For me, it's about helping people. I love the sport. I love athletics. And I love helping people and seeing people develop and grow. Whatever your passion may be, go at it 110%.
Hurston says he's a lot of competitions to worry about before the next Olympics roll around, but then he's shooting to be in Los Angeles in 2028. Reporting in Green Hill, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Super cool. Thank you, Aria. Now here's a cute little story for you all. She's only 3 years old, but already a little girl in North Dakota has read 1,000 books. She's had a little help from her parents, of course. And KMOT's Kona Rivera introduces us all to the Avid Reader.
The Nelson family has about 1,500 books on their shelves at home. They say reading brings them to a whole new world with every page is turned.
Look out!
Eva's brother Ian just started kindergarten and has also read 1,000 books already. Their dad Eric says they were surprised to see their kids reach the mark.
I just think it's amazing. I would have never thought that in such a short period of time they read that many books. It's kind of funny thinking about all the books that we didn't count and all the daycare books that were read and grandparents read books.
Eva still has 2 more years before she starts kindergarten, but that doesn't stop her from giving her parents books to read to her every chance she gets.
What's your favorite one?
They say it all starts from home, and their mom is an avid reader. Her love for reading started with mystery books like the Nancy Drew series.
But reading has always been my thing. My parents would always say that I only became a good traveler once I could read in the car. And then that's how I spent all my trips, was reading.
Children's librarian Randy Monley says the Minot Public Library wants to instill reading as an everyday routine.
They really are learning those early literacy skills before they go into school, and they're also really building a relationship with books and their caregivers. It's just such a great opportunity for the little ones.
Both Eric and Beth say they hope their children will keep finding their love for reading, and say they also learn something new with every book read.
Wow, super cool. And she definitely started reading a lot earlier than I did. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old when I read my first book. And it was a Dr. Seuss book called Green Eggs and Ham. But that is such a cute story. That is awesome. But now let's talk about the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. 48 Savannah Sap will be updating you all on a new food city opening in Fort Payne. 48's Matthew King on the state of the stock market. Today, Matthew spoke with local experts about how the global sell-off is impacting both the market and your 401k. Definitely not going to want to miss that. And you're also just not going to want to miss a story about a Marshall County family receiving a brand new home for Habitat for Humanity. These are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And as always, you're also not going to want to miss our evening forecast from 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, as he keeps you in the know during this hot August weather. Now, I think it is time for Facebook fun. So let's just see what we asked on our Facebook page today. So our Facebook question today was, what is your biggest pet peeve about other drivers? Let me tell you, I have a few pet peeves, but I think we should see what you all had to say. And let's see, Travis Ryan said, people who do not zipper merge. That is very valid. There are some people who might just stop in the middle of the interstate or the highway, and you don't want to do that. You want to do a little thing called zipper merging. So Travis, I feel you on that. Y'all, if you are driving, make sure you learn how to merge, please, for the sake of us all. But Travis, thank you so much for commenting. Dennis Skinner said, motorcycles weaving in and out of traffic and passing between two cars with very little room for error. I understand that completely. That just absolutely scares me. I'm afraid I'm going to hit the motorcyclist. Motorcyclists, please don't do that. Like, just please don't go in between two cars. Please just stay in your lane. But Dennis, please, or Dennis, thank you so much for commenting. Let's see, Ricardo Burnett said, not properly using turn signals. 100%. It's just a safe thing to do. Like, you can't just stop and just turn and expect the person behind you to know what you're doing. You need turn signals. They're extremely important to have. Also, it's not displaying right now, but someone else commented, driving slow in the passing lane. That is another thing. Yeah, if you're going to drive under the speed limit, a lot under the speed limit, please stay in the right lane. That is another pet peeve of mine. But Ricardo, thank you so much for commenting. And let's see, Russ Tyson, what is your biggest pet peeve about other drivers? That there are other drivers. And I understand what you say completely. How dare there be other drivers when I'm driving? Like, it's a big pet peeve of mine. I understand what you're saying 100%, Russ. Thank you so much for commenting. But that is just about all the time we have in today's Before the Four. Just like I said earlier, if you're just now tuning in, our 4 p.m. newscast will be right here on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream page. So if you're watching this right now, don't go anywhere, because we will start up the 48 4 p.m. newscast right after Before the Four ends. It will start on time at 4 o'clock. So don't go anywhere. And of course, our 5, 6, and 10 o'clock shows will be on TV as normal. But I want to thank you all for spending your Monday afternoon with me. Thank you for joining in. I hope everyone has an awesome evening. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 Digital app, the 48 Sports Zone app, and also the 48 First Alert Weather app. You turn on those push notifications on all of those apps. You will never miss a breaking story. And we also push to the 48 Now live stream page for our 4 o'clock show. So make sure you download those digital apps, never miss a breaking news story. But with that said, I want to, of course, thank you for watching. You all have a great night.